How old were you when you thought, okay, maybe I'm transgender?
It was my freshman year of college, so I was 18, possibly just turned 19.
You said before in high school you didn't really know of anyone that was transgender. What was it for you that gave you the aha moment that you thought, I'm transgender?
It was YouTube videos. So I was searching about why I'm so uncomfortable and, the stereotypical lesbian stuff, like almost searching for someone to help me in this LGBT identity. And I'm so uncomfortable. I'm coming across these videos of transgender identifying women who are transitioning to be men. So that would be a trans male is how they would call it. And I'm coming across them, and every single girl who's posting about her transition, she goes from being this very unhappy, depressed, kind of lonely lesbian, which is where I felt like I was. I felt like I have this depression and I feel alone, and I don't know why I feel so uncomfortable with myself. I should be just fine. I should be like all my other lesbian friends, but I'm not. So I'm searching for all this online, and these girls are saying they started taking testosterone, they had top surgery, and they've never been happier. And they're recounting their whole journey. You go back on their pages and it's my voice 2 weeks on T, my voice 1 month on T. They're taking testosterone, their voice is deepening, and 2 weeks on T and all these different things. And then they'll have my first year on T, and they'll compare their voice, and they look happier. Their face is fuller. Their muscles are fuller. Their shoulders are more rounded, and they just look better overall. At least I thought so, because they looked more masculine. And so I was thinking that's how I should be. And I'm watching them, and they're so happy taking the testosterone. And then they get the top surgery, and I'm watching their top surgery videos. What that is a double mastectomy. And they do top surgery reveal videos where their chest is binded after surgery. They have all their bandages from their mastectomy, and they go back to the doctor a week later or something, and the doctor cuts off their bandages and opens their chest, and they see their chest flat for the first time. And a lot of those YouTubers would record themselves having that chest reveal video and then post it. They would be so happy most of the time that they'd be moved to tears. If you look up chest reveal videos, most of the girls will be moved to tears because they're just so elated about having their breasts removed. And I mean, I'm seeing that in me, in my depression. I'm thinking, okay, so what I'm feeling is dysphoria. It's an extreme discomfort with my biological sex. It's gender dysphoria. I kind of self-diagnosed myself with that. I thought, what I need to do is go to the gender clinic and start on the path that all of these girls started on, because apparently it's helping them. Apparently it does something.
So when you first went to a gender clinic, what was that experience like?
When I went, I thought that it was going to be a lot harder to actually get started on testosterone, because I thought they didn't just hand it out to anybody, and I didn't have a therapist. So one of the rules is that I should have a therapist for at least 6 months to make sure that I have the gender dysphoria. But instead, when I went and I told them, I don't have a therapist, I know I need to get set up with one, they actually just had me go for an appointment with an in-office clinician who diagnosed me with gender dysphoria and then was able to write a prescription for testosterone without more appointments.
The same day.
It was just, it was either the same day or I had to schedule a couple weeks out to get in with that in-office clinician. I don't recall 100%, but that's all it was. I just made an appointment, and they do same day appointments. If you call and you try to schedule a week ahead, be like, no, we get a lot of cancellations. It's same day only. So you call like 9 a.m. and I would have to drive down to Boston. I didn't live too far, but it was far enough that I would have liked to know in advance if I needed the day off or something, especially from classes or I had a part-time job. But I just went to my appointment, told them I don't have a therapist. They set me up with somebody in their office, and right away I had a prescription for testosterone.
7 Weeks Coffee is America's pro-life coffee company on a mission to fund the pro-life movement, one delicious cup of coffee at a time. And they check every box. This is pesticide-free, mold-free, organically farmed, low-acid coffee that is absolutely delicious. 7 Weeks Coffee donates 10% of every single sale, including the sale you can make today, to pro-life pregnancy centers. So go to 7weekscoffee.com and save 15% forever when you subscribe, plus get a free gift. And exclusively for my listeners, use code Lila for an extra 10% off your order. That's a 25% total savings on your first order, plus your free gift at 7weekscoffee.com. What were the questions that they asked you to determine whether or not you had gender dysphoria?
Almost exactly what you asked me with what was your childhood like. And I said I was a tomboy. I liked Spider-Man. I think I mentioned that I had an interest in astronomy, and that was on the letter for approval for everything.
Meaning she must be a trans man because she likes astronomy and Spider-Man.
Right. Because I like science and superheroes. I liked it as a child. I didn't even still like it into adulthood or into my early adulthood. It was just, when I was growing up, I was 10 years old. I just, for some reason, loved Spider-Man. Every pretend game I would play, I would want to be Spider-Man. Or for Halloween, I would want to wear the Spider-Man costume. And that was one of the things that she was asking me about. How did you feel during puberty? Well, I felt uncomfortable. Well, that's another sign of gender dysphoria. So there's just a lot of these signs. I don't know if she asked me this specifically in our appointment, but I know that one of them is if you're uncomfortable with how your voice sounds in a recording, they will say that could be a sign of dysphoria, even though like everybody is uncomfortable with how their voice sounds in a recording.
You mentioned you were feeling you experienced some anxiety or some depression or feelings of anxiety and depression, which somebody might say those are comorbidities, or these are other mental health struggles you're maybe facing that are really responsible for some of the identity issues potentially. I mean, these are all, again, some things that like a mental health professional might say. Were those discussed at all, your experiences of depression or of anxiety?
No, a lot of times what happens, it wasn't discussed. I actually went out of my way not to talk about it because I thought I wouldn't be approved for testosterone. And I figured a 45-minute appointment, I can avoid talking about anxiety, depression, everything, because she's not going to know me long enough to figure any of this stuff out. So I was thinking, if all I need to do is prove that I'm ready for hormones in 45 minutes, I can do that. Just pretend like everything's fine, but I know what I need. And that's exactly what I did. So we did not talk about any anxiety except for the confusion during puberty and why I feel like I have dysphoria. So it was just, I'm just uncomfortable with my sex and I know what I need. It was not, I have this depression, I have this anxiety. But even if I had talked to her about those things, I'm not sure it would have mattered, because what people will say, and it might not be everybody, but this is a common thought process within transgender circles, is no matter what ailment you have, it can be OCD, autism, just general anxiety, depression, anything like that. They wouldn't say that that's causing the gender dysphoria. They would say that the gender dysphoria is making those things worse. So you should deal with the gender dysphoria in order to help those other things, or in order to alleviate the symptoms of those other comorbidities, as they say.
And the way to deal with the gender dysphoria for a biological woman is initially testosterone.
Yes. Actually, that was in one of the things that the gender clinic wrote for me and signed off that I could have testosterone and surgeries, was that the only known intervention is, I forget exactly the words they use for it, but hormones and surgery is what they put. They said it's the only known intervention. They didn't talk about, outgrowing it, anything like that. They didn't talk about maybe you can try to become comfortable in your gender. Maybe you can try to, just mold yourself, just have your own personality. You can be yourself, but you're still a woman. There was none of that. It was just, this is the intervention and this is what we're going to do.
When they prescribed you testosterone, did they discuss the risks of testosterone as a female taking it? They
did, but I think that they left some things out, because some things that I'm still discovering, I never knew were risks of testosterone. So they have this whole list of this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. Honestly, I don't even really remember most of what's on the list. They went through it kind of fast. She actually, the nurse who was walking me through it, I said, I saw this on YouTube, and she said, oh, okay, well, you saw it on YouTube. And I just kind of signed it, and that was that.
Like, she didn't actually talk it through with you.
She just very quickly, this listed off the items on there, but that was it. I said, I don't have any questions. I saw it all on YouTube, and it was just, okay, that's fine.
What was the thing that you think they left out?
Oh, it was ovarian cysts. I'm not sure if that's on the,
sounds like a big deal.
Yeah, it does. So I'm not sure if it's on the informed consent paperwork, or if it wasn't back then, and if it is now, I'm not sure. But from what I understand, a lot of detransitioners are finding out that they have ovarian cysts. And now I have had a hysterectomy at this point. So, and my ovaries were removed. But I do remember that when I had the ultrasound before the hysterectomy, they did see that I had cysts on one of my ovaries, but they didn't explore it any further. The gender clinic just said sometimes people just have cysts on their ovaries and it's not really a big deal. And so I went, well, all right. I mean, I'm not going to have them that much longer anyway. So we just got rid of them. I thought that was perfectly fine, perfectly normal. And then I see online a lot of detransitioners are saying that they have ovarian cysts and they think it's a result of the testosterone. No, I can't say for sure, but it seems like it's possible at least.